Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Marvel Spider-Man Race Car and Venom Green Goblin set. This is set number 76279. It has 227 pieces, and I paid $35 for this set. This is one of the sets that came out January 1st, 2024. I was kind of excited about it because it has the Venom Green Goblin set. It kind of looked similar to like a Speed Champion-esque car in here, and I think these are printed pieces rather than stickers. So this had a lot of things going for it. I already looked at the $10 set that had the Venomized Doc Ock, and so I really wanted to get these kind of Venom variants of these characters, and so I decided to pick this up. So I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the value yet, but either way, in this video I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy! Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Marvel Spider-Man race car versus the Venomized Green Goblin set, I wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you that if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. So we start off with the minifigures here, then we do a brick-built accessory for the Venomized Green Goblin glider there, which I really like, and kind of like the Mr. Oz's space car set, this set also has a lot of similarities to a Speed Champion, and I actually felt that way about the Miles Morales Mobius set that came out, or Morbius set that came out a little while back as well. And there are some interesting stuff in here. Overall, I ended up really liking this, but I wasn't so sure about a couple of the choices. It ended up feeling very much a Speed Champions car, but also very kind of toy-ish, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It is a toy after all. But I think it's not without its faults. But now on to my review for this set. Okay, so here we have the Lego Marvel Spider-Man race car and Venom Green Goblin set. This is pretty great. It feels very toy, which it is. It's Lego, but it's toy, and it feels more of a toy to me than a Speed Champions, but maybe that's just the color scheme, because there are a lot of elements of this that remind me very much of an 8-wide Speed Champion here. So we'll get into the Spider-Man race car here in a minute, but the first thing we'll get into is the minifigures, because you do get some. So first we have a Spider-Man here, the blue legs, nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, has the nice red printing on the blue arms there. Torso's good, face is good, back is good, back of the head is so-so. This is the same Spider-Man that is in the the motorcycle chase, like Spider-Man versus Doc Ock, and it's a pretty common one, but still nice to get that character. Good way to get that. Then we have a Ghost Spider here, which I was very happy to get. They have these white kind of web blast projectiles for their hands, kind of the suggestions of a waist and hips here. Printing is nice for the torso, nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, nothing on the arms. Face is really nice, does have the nice hood, no alternate face or anything like that. And the back of the torso has some nice detail in it there. So this is a good figure, kind of simple, but I think it's pretty great. And then we have the Green Goblin, but this is a Venomized Green Goblin. So they have a pumpkin grenade here or whatever, and so we have the Green Goblin kind of with the like slouch cap there, dual molded with the ears. Half of the face has like the Green Goblin face here, half of it's kind of symbiote Venomized, and the torso actually looks like very corrupted by the symbiote there, but you can still see a little bit of like the purple and green and different colors in there. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs. This arm is black, this arm is green. Looking at the back of the torso, that kind of continues, but it's almost like it's reversed, so you see a little more of the Green Goblin kind of type back there. And some of these kind of more venomized sections are at the edges and at the corner. And like the Doc Ock Venom version, there is an alternate face on this character that has like the fully venomized face here, which is really cool. And I think this is a really good figure. It's very similar to the Doc Ock one, but it's unique as well. I would have loved if it had, some leg printing or something, but this also works. And I'm just really glad that they're doing these variants. As far as accessory goes, like I say, they have the pumpkin grenade. We have these little blasts. There's a white kind of cable thing for a web blast. There's also this kind of flexible web that a character could be, captured in, and it can be held by one of the spider people here, and they could wrap up Green Goblin in that or something. There is also a banana peel, which also was in the motorcycle chase Doc Ock, Venomized Doc Ock Spider-Man set, so another one of those, which is nice, kind of a flexible plastic piece there. The Ghost Spider does come with a skateboard here, so that is cool. And then there is a brick-built glider for the Green Goblin, and to me this looks like a venomized glider as well. So the color scheme is just black and white, which I think is really, really fitting and really, really cool. So it's a pretty simple build. We just have the couple wing elements there clipped onto this modified plate with the bar on either side. We do have stud shooters out there. They shoot like red studs here like that. Whoopsies, I lost the Green Goblin here. And then we have some nice kind of curly Q pieces at the back to kind of give it more shape. These can be angled a little bit, some thrust back here, and this is a pretty nice glider, and I think it's cool that it's kind of Venom color scheme there, where I usually think of the glider as looking a bit different from this, but I think the shape is about right, and the color scheme feels very good, and I like the use of these pieces at the back here. So that's a nice little brick build accessory. Has some play in these stud shooters there. You do get a couple extras, so I have 2 loaded in here, 2 extras there. And then besides all of that, what we have is the Spider-Man race car here. And so when looking at this set, I was very kind of cognizant of its relation to like Speed Champions here. And what I was saying at the beginning is that it looks a little more toy to me, and I don't know if it's this piece or whatever, but there are some nice building techniques in here. And one of the things to note, which I kind of noted at the beginning, no stickers in this set. So this is a printed piece here, and these Nexonite shields on the side are also printed. But this was really cool, and I'll actually grab a Speed Champion card just so we can see them in comparison. So I grabbed this McLaren vehicle just because shape-wise there's something kind of similar going on, where it starts out at like the 8 wide at the back and then gets narrower, not nearly as narrow here, and then gets wider out towards the front axle there. And so you can see the overall like length isn't quite the same, but the width is pretty much the same, so 8 wide. And I don't know how many pieces are actually used in this vehicle. It does use like a big, or one of the chassis type pieces here, but then we do extend it out a little bit at the back, extend it out a bit at the front, maybe just not as much as a Speed Champion. I do like to get the white rims here on these Speed Champion wheels, which is nice. We do have stud shooters on this one. They shoot out these like translucent blue pieces there, so you get a couple extra, and I have those in there. The whole front bit here is really basic, but works nicely. So just some slope pieces there, a little bit of like a brick on a bracket to extend that out. I like how these kind of like headlight pieces were used here and have the translucent underneath and on the side for some lights, which is great. typical kind of fenders here. The hood of the vehicle is nice. Got some grill pieces tiled out, feels very finished. Nice use of these kind of modified slope pieces here, cheese wedge here, 1x2 like slope piece, some plate work on the bottom, and then some studs on the side for the Nexonite shields. Same with the back, and then the back actually is really cool as well. There's some nice kind of technique in here for some different bracket work and studs on the side stuff to make like these have a slightly different location. You know, they're not just all straight across. Obviously these are on the side, and I think overall this looks nice. The translucent stuff looks good, translucent stuff here as well. So I think that's very cool. And then there's kind of a lot of room inside of this, which is really interesting. So I'll pop off the top. This is a nice windscreen piece, translucent blue kind of, and then in the back of this, one of the reasons that maybe it looks the way it does, the back of this is just a blue kind of windscreen piece here that feels like a piece that I have seen in Speed Champion sets. And so then when we take that off, we can see all into the back. So we have center steering here, could probably fit 2 minifigures in there, maybe 2, maybe just 1. We have control panels on the side, those are printed, and then we have some room in the back for some cargo or some different stuff. I'm assuming, you know, whatever could probably be like put in there, or there's probably some way to fit these things in. And actually I also think this doesn't look too bad with the roof off. So there is a little bit of a forward rake here, and you can tell just based on these being you know, not being on the same kind of like level of plates, there's a little difference there. So this one's a little well, the one in the back is closer to the ground, so it leans forward a little bit. And so I could see this looking really, really flat. But if you look at like the distance between the fender and the wheel versus up at the front, so there is some rake there. So they could have done more to make this not look so flat. But of course it is intended to have these kind of roof pieces on there, and then it doesn't look nearly as flat like that. But I maybe some of that stuff, just everything being so level at the top, is why it feels a little more toyish to me than something like that McLaren, just because it has way more changes and just different stuff here. Obviously this is modeled after, you know, a real car for the most part, or definitely, and this one, I don't know if it's modeled after something specific, but it's definitely a little more cartoony to me, I would say, and that's okay for this set. I think it works pretty well. I think it matches actually that Spider-Man's motorcycle from the Dr. Octopus Venomized Doc Ock motorcycle chase sets, the $10 set, and so overall this looks pretty cool. I'm glad there's no stickers, and it's just a great toy. It fits good in the hand. It feels very sturdy, even though when putting it together it seemed like there were some, you know, kind of unique choices in here, and I think it could have, you know, they could have made this more involved or more visually interesting. Right now it does feel a little plain. I think probably part of that is because this is not something that they do all that often, just using like a windscreen piece for the back. I feel like more regularly I see this kind of stuff be brick built or built up or something like that, and maybe that would do a little different job there than having this all just kind of flat here, and no studs and no gaps and no kind of severe angle changes. It's just is that piece. But I think this looks really nice. I really like it from the front. I think the way they did these lights are very cool. I really like it from the back. The side is great. Color blocking is really nice. And then we do have the stud shooters up there, which is cool. Let me try to actually fit these characters in here and see if we can get 2. I'm not 100% sure, but if we sit them up like that and we get them like this, so we could have both Ghost Spider and Spider-Man in there, and then looking good, looking all right. And there is room to maybe throw in some accessories and different stuff back here, which is always important to me. And I think that's pretty good as well. Let me just see here if I can get this closed. So that's a nice consideration there. As far as all this other stuff, you know, they're nice accessories and pretty standard for Spider hero type sets. So good to get the skateboard for Ghost Spider and the web blasts, and good to get the kind of flexible web stuff here. I think the Green Goblins, Venomized Green Goblins glider rather is the best. It's the most substantive, and he also gets the like pumpkin grenade here, and the glider doesn't feel like too much of an afterthought. It feels like it was always intended, which is nice. And so they kind of get a lot of stuff done here with a pretty modest piece budget. So I will talk about that in a second. I'll show the extra pieces. Like I said, we get 2 extra of these studs for projectiles, the red ones for the Green Goblin and the blue ones for the race car here. And then for the rest of the extra pieces, we do get another one of the white kind of web blast pieces there. Same for the studs for the stud shooters, your translucent stuff, little barb, cheese wedges, the trigger piece for the stud shooter, tile shooter. This piece, which I really like on the back of the glider, the T-bar piece, flame piece, your 1x1s, your studs, your tiles, your little pieces, about standard there, but good to get those. And this set is 227 pieces, 3 minifigures, and it retails for $35. You know, when I was looking at, I was just looking at a set from the Dreams line, which was Mr. Oz's space car, and the base kind of model of that set before the Dream modifications is very similar to or I likened it to a 8-wide Speed Champion. And that set retailed for $30. It had like 350 pieces or something like that. Did have some good minifigures and some nice stuff. And it had like a lot of extra stuff besides just the base model. But I was sort of talking about, you know, Speed Champions are apparently getting an price increase again. So a single car would be $27 instead of $25 or instead of $20. And, you know, in that Dream set, I felt like I got a Speed Champions car without all the co-branding and everything, you know, plus some more actual Lego, you know. So in this one, there are some licensing here. This is a very popular character. There are no stickers in this set. And you do get 3 minifigures, some unique ones. I don't know if the Venomized Green Goblin will be in another set. So that certainly has some novel value, at least to me. And then looking at the car, you know, if they're going to be charging $27 for something very similar to this, that's sort of what the baseline is. I don't really feel great about that personally. And, you know, comparing this to the Dreams set is a little bit tough because while the base is very similar, the Dreams had like a lot more accessories and had 2 builds and just had like more bulky stuff to add on to what essentially was the like canvas to work from. And the canvas happened to be essentially an 8-wide Speed Champion vehicle or somewhat akin to that. So on some level, $35 doesn't seem that far off. If they can say this is $27, even if they say this is $25, or $20, we still have $15 to work with. And you combine that with the accessories, the little glider, and then the licensed minifigures and unique minifigures here, all the prints. You know, I think it makes sense, even if this was $20, to eventually consider everything else in the set and get up to $35. I still don't love that price for this. I think this would have been great at $30. And then when you're having to choose or having to look at stuff like Bowser's muscle car or the Dreams Mr. Oz space car or this Spider-Man race car in Venom Green Goblin or like the City race car and race car carrier truck set, and those are all in the $30 range and have a varied amount of pieces, and some are IP related and some aren't, and all this different stuff. I think there's like a really interesting conversation to be had or discussion to be had, or some things to look at comparing all those sets had they all been, put at a similar price point, because they have so many similarities to each other and also a lot of differences to each other. It might be fair to loop in the Rockets Warbird into that discussion as well, just to see if we can deduce, Lego's pricing philosophy or their scheme for how they sort of value these things. All that is to say is, I think this is a good set. Initially, looking at the piece count and looking what I thought I was going to be getting, 35 seemed a little steep. Now that I have it in front of me, I've built it, I've looked at everything, 35 doesn't seem outrageous. 40 probably would have seemed, a little more, definitely more outrageous. I don't know how outrageous exactly. I think 30 would have been great, but it depends on, if Lego really values minifigures at $5 a piece or $4 a piece or whatever. That is and plus the, iconic characters, licensed characters, comic book characters, Marvel characters, Disney characters here. I think that does add a significant amount to a potential set's final manufacturer's suggested retail price. And this is pretty good. The builds are good. This looks good. Doesn't feel like an afterthought. The card looks really, really good. Looks spot on. Looks like a great toy. I think this is a lot of fun. And so, I don't really have complaints about any of the Lego stuff necessarily. The legs for the minifigures aren't printed or anything like that. So we have 2 just black legs, 1 just blue legs. That could be improved upon. And, the car could have been improved upon a little bit too. Maybe doing something a little different for the back, but that would have inflated the piece budget. And there's maybe a few other things, but overall I think this is a really strong entry and a really fun thing as well. So I'm going to be very excited to combine this with the kind of Dr. Octopus Venomized one, with the Iron Venom and the pork grind Venom, Peter Porker character type thing, and all these different variants, and I hope they make more Venom variant for Villains, and I also hope they do more interesting, spider vehicles and different stuff. This feels like a little bit conservative. It's just a very traditional looking design. It's just a race car. It's not like as adventurous as I feel like they could go, but it's still a really good entry. So I'm very, very happy with that. And so pretty nice. And I don't know if the price is that bad. Let me know if you think this should be cheaper, or maybe you think this should be more, or you're happy with the price in the comments if you have thoughts about it. I love reading any comments that people leave. And that's all for this. So I like this. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego Marvel, more car builds, more just tons of other sets from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of those upcoming videos. And if you want to support this channel and support these videos here, you can do that right here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. All that stuff really helps me a lot, so I appreciate it. And I still have the Patreon, which is linked in the video description, linked on my channel page, patreon.com/sobricks. And I'm going to keep trying to kind of build a community there, and I appreciate any and all the support. So thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.